First impressions are powerful and they're lasting.
I know. My first impression of you is still here after all these
years. Anyway, this can even carry over into science, into doctor-patient relationships, and some people are branded for life, even if they change over time. Now, there are studies that show that previous studies that were done are not correct after all, and yet people are stuck and they won't change their minds. Well, they continue on as if the new studies weren't even done. Now, we have a lot of examples of that, even like in your office. Like, for example, mammograms versus breast thermography.
Sure. We've been doing breast thermography for years, probably about 15 years, and I've researched carefully mammography versus breast thermography, and there's no contest there. And yet the main opinion of doctors, for sure, is that mammography is the state of the art. When you look at the data, it really isn't. And in fact, it's not just me that's saying that. It's the United States Preventive Services Task Force that's starting to question this too.
And there are other things too, like the photon stimulator that we talk about so frequently versus drugs. Because why isn't the photon stimulator, the infrared light, why is that not in mainstream medicine?
Right.
I mean, you do it, and some of the chiropractors do it, but why isn't it like in the diabetic clinics?
Yeah, it's ridiculous because we even did a clinical trial at the VA hospital in Martinez, California, on 120 patients with diabetic neuropathy and showed that it's quite valuable in treating that condition. And yet the mainstream people, even in my backyard here, are not following that data and are not referring patients to have that treatment done when it's so incredibly positive. In fact, the diabetics with neuropathy who have pain, in our experience, are usually better in 2 or 3 days as far as the pain is concerned. And then their numbness improves over a period of a week or two, and their balance gets better. And they don't have all the other problems that come up with amputations,
people are so
etc.
stuck on the old way and wanting to use drugs that's what they do. And there are a lot of ads on TV for the drugs too, which encourages that. So if you listen to us, you might want to spread the word because people need to know about this. There's another example, the bioenergy test, as opposed to lab tests.
Oh, yes.
Like, for example, let's just take a part of that bioenergy test and talk about the thyroid, because normally it's done with a blood test.
Right. Well, the old basal metabolic rate was the standard. It was the gold standard that we followed to diagnose the condition in the first place. And so what we do is we measure carbon dioxide production and oxygen consumption when a person's at rest, and that determines what the basal metabolic rate is using lots of other algorithms that I don't need to go over with you because it works out fine. And that test is excellent. And it has other parts of it too that are fantastic. We do pulmonary function testing, and we do limited cardiac stress testing. And then we exercise people to maximum capacity over 10 or 15 minutes, and we can find out what their oxygen production and their utilization of oxygen is, which is the gold standard for knowing if people are healthy or not healthy. It even differentiates between people who are malingering, which we worry about a lot of the time, or who have psychological problems, from those people that are just out of shape and can't make ATP for that reason because they're so deconditioned, from those people that really have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or one of the other conditions where you don't make enough ATP. That test should be done on everybody because it tells us exactly where we are in terms of how well do we produce oxygen and how well do we utilize the oxygen that's coming to our cells.
Well, another test that comes to mind is the live blood cell analysis versus the dead
standard
blood cell analysis that's done in all the hospitals.
Exactly.
Like, why don't they do live blood cell analysis? I don't mean that they need to do it all the time, but there's certainly times that it's helpful.
Just think about it for a minute. Would it be better to look at cells that are dead and stained? Or can you possibly learn something by looking at about 8 or 10,000 power in a dark field microscope and see how the blood cells move, the white cells and the red cells and the platelets? Do they stick together? Is there a problem with blood that's too thick? Are there other issues that should be looked at that have to do with detoxification? All these things, Vicki, can be done. And yet we've got this mindset because we think that only the things that we do in medicine that are conventional are the ones that we should follow. And we just miss out on all this other
You
good
just
stuff.
get stuck. So should we continue on with examples?
Oh, there's so many
Well, there are
other.
things too, like chemotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
versus things like artemisinin, which is an herb,
An herb, yeah.
and things like
Or lifestyle.
Yeah,
They look at
lifestyle.
lifestyle as a treatment for people who have cancer. And a lot of the time, it's far more powerful than the chemotherapy and the radiation. And yet, we don't focus on lifestyle so much.
Well, then also things like the flu vaccine.
Oh dear, we don't want to get into that one. If you want to really get into that, you can look up on drsaputo.com the infection deception and see I wrote about a 15-page
But the
paper on that.
point
that was
is that
published.
everybody believes the old studies, and so that's why they're still doing it.
Exactly.
And if you say anything different, they think that you're, I don't know, woo-woo or crazy or
Yeah.
or
Well, change
something.
comes slowly, but when it comes, eventually, then everybody wants to take credit for it. It's a weird thing. So when we're looking at the kinds of things that are new, that are breakthroughs, we should expect that there's going to be some resistance because our minds, as it turns out, imprint on the first thing. And it's why branding is so important. You probably remember Xerox as a copier, but I bet you're hard-pressed to think of other companies as the first thing you think
well,
about.
just like Tylenol. The doctor,
absolutely.
doctor doesn't say go take some acetaminophen.
That's right.
Or,
the other brands.
or instead of aspirin, they don't say go take some acetylsalicylic acid.
Well,
they tell you to take
look
a
at the
Bayer.
brand.
They'll say take a Bayer or something.
Look at the brand name. So keep that in mind. And when new things come that come forward, take a look at those in a serious way. And I'm talking to my colleagues in medicine now, as well as to everybody else. New things should be paid attention to until we learn enough about them that we think they're either good or not good, and then make the decision using the scientific method.